Good morning. Today I'm going to just talk to you, and the subject is gifts for the artist that would be appropriate for the artist's studio. Yesterday, Robin and I went to Hobby Lobby, and we showed some of the ideas that are there that might be good ideas as gifts for artists. Some of the feedback I got from some of you is aimed at the quality of some of the products that are there, saying that they are student grade paints, etc. And yes, some of them are, but I don't know who's on your gift list. There might be some students, and that would be just appropriate. And you know, everybody doesn't have the budget for the professional grades of paint. And maybe paint is a bad idea anyway for an artist. Maybe it's better to get something like a tool. And so, by a tool I mean, I don't know, brushes. I mean, there were some good brushes there. So, but you know, you can look around, and I don't need to tell you that because this audience already knows. You guys are smarter than me when it comes to these things, and I so much appreciate what I've learned from you by doing this channel. But I do have some ideas for some gifts for the artist's studio, the Workspace. So let's just dive into that. And today you're just stuck with looking at me because Robin is still sleeping, and I wanted to get this done this morning because today is the day of the art auction, and I'm going to videotape as much as I can of that also. I haven't been to the church to see how they've set it up, but I know they have set it up already. So that'll be the video you'll see tomorrow, because it'll take me a while to edit it once I videotape it. But let's hope that they raise enough money for the youth gathering in New Orleans, which is what the art auction is for. And Robin has some art in it. I have 200 greeting cards in it. I have one large portrait of Jesus that I did, and there was some woodworking, and there's some metal art in the art show, and I think there's some jewelry also. All right, let's get into the gift ideas for the artist's studio. Now, I'm not going to worry about budget, so some of these things might be out of your budget, or some of these things might be not necessary for the person on your list, but hey, let's just have some fun and go through the list. These are the things I thought would be good for your artist's studio, maybe your own studio too. If I had an ideal studio, it would be on the second floor somewhere, looking out onto something. I don't know what I want to look out onto. I'm a city kid at heart, so maybe I'd like to be in not a big city, but maybe a small city looking down onto the town. I don't know. Or maybe I'd like to be at the ocean, but then, you know, you got the hurricanes. I'm not asking you to rent some space for somebody, but hey, if you're one of those people that has money to give great gifts, you can rent out an office space or a studio space for somebody. You know, we have in our town, we have a cooperative studio space where artists pay, I think, $100 a month for it's like shared space, so they're not the only people in that studio, and it's an old train station. It's really beautiful, actually. Yeah. All right, let me tell you the kind of things. Let's see. An adjustable standing desk. I will tell you that one of the things that I have thought about is getting one of those standing desks, because you could sit, you can move it down, and you can lift it up and stand or sit. I sit way too much. I worked for 30-something years in radio, and I sat the whole time. And let me tell you something, being sedentary has caused some problems for me, but I'm trying to work through them. So yeah, I've been thinking about a standing desk. So That's a great one. I saw one yesterday in Hobby Lobby. I think it was in Hobby Lobby when I saw this. We went to a couple stores yesterday. We only videotaped in Hobby Lobby. But anyway, a standing desk. A storage cabinet. I mean, do you know, we live in a world of digital everything. So everybody thinks you don't need physical space anymore, but you do. You got paper, and you got paints, and you got brushes, and all kinds of stuff. You know, one of the things that also I saw yesterday that I thought was a good idea were plastic cups that have a screw-on cap. I mean, I know you can get them anywhere, but it's a good idea, really, because if you're going out like painting with watercolor or gouache, you have to have water, you know, and if you have a dog, you have to have water for the dog. 2 different waters, right? But yeah, that's not a bad idea too. All right, so let's see, the desk, a storage cabinet of some sort, a rolling cart, some kind of a cart that rolls around. That's always nice to have with, you know, different levels on it for supplies. A wall-mounted or tabletop rack to keep paints organized. I'm the least organized person you're probably going to know, but if I showed you what's to my left, I mean, I have big plastic bins filled with paint, and the only thing that's organized about them is that one of them has gouache, one of them has oils, and one of them has acrylics. That's it. Who knows what else is in there? But anyway, yeah, a paint tube organizer would be a great gift. A seat. I know it seems obvious, but I sit in an office chair. You probably hear it cracking here and there when I do my videos, and it's not the best. What would be better? And I'm going to set this up because I have a drawing table in the garage. I'll have to set that up, and then a seat that can be higher or that swivels. You know, what do they call it? Ergonomic or flexible or whatever. So that's an idea too. And then the lighting. Yesterday when we were in Hobby Lobby, they had a few lights, and I thought, you know, that's an overlooked necessity for artists, is the proper lighting. I mean, you have windows, which is my preferred light, because then you get that natural light. But you can get a lot of artificial light that mimics natural light if you are in a place where you can't get natural light, or maybe you're working at night. Like I work in the morning a lot before the sun comes up. So there's that. If you just want to make the studio pretty, you could put, you know, some ambient light. Those strips. They have amazing lighting now. Right now at Christmas time, there's all kinds of lighting. You might want to pick up something that's marketed for Christmas, but make it like some decorative lighting around your studio. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you love? I would love to share a studio with somebody. Anyway, that's fun. I know this sounds weird, but an air purifier. Have you ever heard that? And I don't know that this would have worked, but I heard, and I don't know that it's true, that Bob Ross died of cancer because, remember, he was always taking his brush and flap, 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 flap. He was flapping his brush against the easel, I think. He flapped it against it to get the thinner off of the brush. He would go, bop, 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 bop. And that was atomizing all of those chemicals. It was always going into the air. And somewhere I heard, I don't know if it's verified or whatever, but that's how he got cancer, was all those chemicals floating in the air. So an air purifier, yeah, not a bad idea. And I don't know much about them, but I know that they range in prices from cheap to expensive. I'm just guessing that you get what you pay for. So you might want to invest a few dollars. You don't want to get something that says your air purifier, and it's just simply a tissue that pulls a few particles out of the air. Something that I don't do, but I will do one day, I've always thought I would do this, is I would play music in my workspace, or listen to the radio or something. I have a radio here, but I don't plug it in. I haven't plugged it in. And I always thought that would be a nice thing, really, just to to work with music going, or with, if you like talk radio, whatever. But yes, or just the speakers, just the sound system. When I was younger, I took an art class in high school, and that art teacher always had a turntable, and of course back then it was vinyl. And I've always thought I'd like to do that. I'd like to have like a vinyl turntable and set it up with some, that's not to be big speakers, just sounding good. And today's technology, small speakers still sound good. Anyway, yeah, that's a nice thing too. And then the other thing is a humidifier if you're in an arid area, or a dehumidifier if you're in, like where I am, a very humid area. And then also you could get the mini humidifier for the art supplies themselves. That's different. That's what you put like in the cabinet. It's similar to a damp chaser for a piano, if you know what that is. That's to keep the moisture out of a piano. You keep moisture out of a piano, you add moisture to the air in an art cabinet. Yeah, and don't overdo it, because you don't want to warp the cabinet itself. You can have one of those pegboards. That's an idea. If you're handy, get a pegboard, set it up, and then you can hang up the hooks on which you could hang the brushes and scissors and other tools that you use. Some people have a magnetic strip that they use, so I don't know, you might want to buy that somewhere. Or just a rack where your jars are, like a handyman often has rows of jars with nails, this size nails in that one, this different size nails, and bolts in this one. So you can do the same thing with art supplies, brushes, and I don't know what else. And then the drying rack. Hold on, I gotta adjust my noisy chair. The drying rack. When I did the portrait of Jesus, that took a whole week, and I know they say that oil paint takes a whole year to actually dry, but as far as being able to comfortably move the painting and not worry about it smearing, that was one thing I had to wait. Now, if I had a rack or something, it would have been much better. What I ended up doing was sitting it against my piano, and so Jesus was in my living room for like a week, guarding the house. But yeah, a drying rack is really good. Every electrician will probably have some ideas for how to organize your wires. If you've got, like in today's world, there's computers with wires, there's lamps with wires, you might have a radio like I have, if I haven't plugged it in, just all kinds of wires. If I could show you just to the right of me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires coming out of what do you call that thing? I don't know. It's got 5 wires. Anyway, so yeah, a cable management kit. I think that's what they call it. A cushion for your table. They call them anti-fatigue mats. I've never needed one, but I saw them yesterday. A studio fan. Oh my gosh, a fan is a good idea. Yes, a fan. If you're in a cold climate, maybe a heater, a space heater. Let me tell you something. Space heaters used to be like really super dangerous. But last time I went camping with Robin, we were in a tent and we were freezing. And her brother, who knows a lot more about camping than we do, gave us this little tiny heater that worked wonders. And it never had a hot surface anywhere on it. So, yeah, look around. And maybe the camping supply section, you'll find some heaters. I don't remember the brand name. It's in the garage, buried, because we haven't gone camping in more than a year. But anyway, yeah, heater if you're in an area that's cold, or a fan if you're in an area like I am where it's hot. Even with the air conditioner, the fan, even just if I'm using, and I don't do oils that often, but once in a while, just to get that turpentine smell out but I don't use turpentine very often. I used to. So a desk organizer would be good. Robin recommended a cup holder for your drink. That's not a bad idea. I I have a cup on my desk. Oh, I know what would be fun. One of those customized signs. When I worked in radio, we had a lit sign that said on air, and then we had a customized one that said Robin and the Giant on air, which that was the name we used, Robin and the Giant. So yeah, you can get a customized lit sign. It is so cool. Maybe I'll get one. Poppa Paints on the air. I'll put it on the door. I don't need to do that, but that would be fun, right? And they come in all kinds of colors. Yeah, I've used them in radio. I haven't used them since retiring and coming home and doing art all the time. Or masterpiece in progress, or something. There's probably something like that already out there. Just look it up. Who knows? You know what you could do? You could make a calendar out of the artwork that your friend has made. Like maybe just find 12 pieces and get them offline, and then make a calendar. That's an idea. And then that calendar could go into the studio of your artist friend. Plants. You know, I'm not a big plant guy. Robin loves plants. So I don't have any plants in here. But I got plenty of plants on the porch, but I don't really have any. Well, yes, I do. I have two. One is a cactus. Well, the cactus is now outside because it got too big. I got a cactus for 98 cents at Walgreens. And I got it after my brother died. He lived in California, but he was moving to Arizona. He had a place in Arizona. And so I came back to Florida and I got one of these 98-cent cactuses from Walgreens. And now, and this was almost 6 years ago, now that cactus is 4 feet tall. I am not exaggerating. So plants in the studio, it's a nice idea. If it's, again, going back to Bob Ross's breathing into that stuff, you just want to get a mask or a respirator, so that you're not breathing in the varnish and the sprays. The one thing that I probably use that's the most toxic is the what do you call that stuff? The stuff I spray on pencil and charcoal, fixative. Fixative definitely has a smell to it. So yeah, a mask or a respirator. I don't know if somebody's using an X-Acto knife, you might want to get some cut-resistant gloves. I don't know where you would get them, but I know they exist. I've seen other artists use them. Maybe a fireproof box. I have 2 fireproof boxes, but they're not really big enough for the art. I just use them for paperwork, important papers, which I haven't looked at in a dozen years probably. So how important are they? I don't even know what's in there. I don't know if I can think of anything else. But just to add to it a little bit, I don't know how much your artist friend is into marketing his or her art, but we saw yesterday plastic sleeves. Those are good. You can have some custom business cards printed up for your artist friend. I don't know, custom tissue paper for packaging, stickers or labels. I saw this thing, and I don't know if I like this idea, but it's a stamp, a rubber stamp, for the artist to sign the work. Now, why would you do that? By the way, look at this pen I got. This is a pen that Robin's brother made. Isn't that nice? He made it for me. It's he's a woodworker, so he made that whole casing, and then let me see if I can take it apart. No, I don't even know how to take it apart. But anyway, he made this, and of course the inside he didn't make, the actual mechanism that carries the ink. But that's a nice gift too, if you can get somebody a pen, a nice pen. Yeah, I'd rather sign my work with a pen or with paint. I mean, just paint the painting, paint your name on the painting. You know what also? I wanted to show you this. I ordered some of my own cards. Now, I showed these once before, And so I use a website called Fine Art America. I'm not affiliated with them other than the fact that I sell my art on there. And the prints that they made of my cards onto printed cards came out really beautiful. Am I upside down here? I don't know. But anyway, these are the prints that came out, and the originals were, that's a wheelbarrow. That's a painting I gave to Robin's mother, but these are prints that I got, and they're printed on a really nice cardstock from Fine Art America. And on the back, they have their name, but they also put my name and my web address, which I'm not really sure they do that anymore. Somebody pointed out that they stopped doing that. But anyway, they make a nice product, actually. In fact, Robin has ordered prints off of Fine Art America of some of my work that would I gift to me. She printed up some of my own work because the art itself, well, in this case, it was digital, and so she wanted a print. But sometimes, you work like the picture I did of Jesus, it's going to go away. I'm never going to see it again. So if I wanted a copy of it, I have to buy a print of my own work. So anyway, those are some ideas. I guess I've talked long enough. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and all those things. I'm enjoying doing Poppa Paints. This channel is now 1 year old, and I think we have 12,000 subscribers or something like that. So I appreciate you guys so much. I've learned more from you than you ever will learn from me. I don't think of myself as a teacher. I just think of myself as a retired radio guy who decided to work with art. I've always been an artist or an illustrator. Oh, by the way, maybe you know this already, but I was watching this thing on The Last Supper. I'll just tell you this and then I'll wrap up the video. So Leonardo da Vinci painted The Last Supper. And what is unique, I guess there were other artists who had painted The Last Supper or their version of The Last Supper before he did. Seems to me that's what they were showing. But what he did that was unique, and what really struck me as similar to what illustrators do, what I do as an illustrator, he took one scene, one sentence from the Bible, from the Jesus story, and that is the sentence that is illustrated in his Last Supper. And let me see if I can find that sentence online. Let's see. It was Jesus talking about being betrayed by Judas, right? Okay. I never knew that. Maybe you knew that already, right? Let's see if I have something. Let's see, Leonardo da Vinci. The artwork was painted between 1494 and 1498. And the video I watched indicated that the people he was working for were trying to hurry him up. You're taking too long. You gotta make this happen quicker. Yeah, story of our lives, right? As illustrators. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up now. You guys, thank you so much. I will paint some more in a couple days. This evening, I'm going to the art auction at the church, and I'll show you what happens there, and Robin and I will narrate it, or just talk as we're videotaping, and maybe I can interview the pastor and the other people involved, and maybe we'll get to see some, I don't know, some drama. Maybe somebody will say, I'll bid $40 on that. And then somebody will say, I'll bid $50 on that. And maybe we'll see something go for a lot of money. That's kind of exciting, isn't it? All right, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.